Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
The cost of a bad hire. I think a lot of guys know what a bad hire is. They've tried to do the process themselves. They put the ad on Indeed. They go through, and they can't see all the hundreds of applications they got that are just tire kickers most of the time, anyways. And then they end up scheduling interviews. There's a bunch of no-shows. There's this one guy. We have this need. We're going to go ahead and hire him because he's a heartbeat. What is the cost of that bad hire that we have?
Oh my gosh. So many ways that this can be a problem for you. I'm sure that if we just look at everybody across the board, when you onboard someone, there are costs that don't show up on your P&L. There are costs. There's the lower productivity from the supervisor who has to train them. There's lower productivity from the crew who's got the new guy that they've got to make sure he understands how to do it, our process. There's the time, the opportunity cost that your trainers or whoever else has to work with them outside of the crew. Like there's all of these costs that we never associate with just bringing on someone new, whether they're good or bad. We've got those costs. Now, if they turn out bad, it's a problem. But what are the other things? We've got customer satisfaction issues. So if we got a job that goes a little sideways, now all of a sudden you've got a customer that may not ever want to come back because you hired the wrong guy. You've got morale issues, and morale is a real thing. Morale affects engagement. Disengagement costs companies so much money. It's ridiculous. We had one small contractor. They estimated that disengagement cost them $3.7 million a year.
Wow.
That's real money ripped right off the bottom line, right out of profit. Disengagement. Well, when you hire the wrong person, guess what that does? The rest of the team sits around and goes, does the owner even care? Does the supervisor even care? Like, why would you hire this Yahoo? Do they even know? And then they start doubting, do they even know how to run the business if they keep hiring these Yahoos, these wrong people? Like there's a lot that goes into morale and what that can do to impact productivity. It also impacts your turnover. When I see you hiring a bunch of B and C players, if I'm a rock star, if I'm an A player, I'm going to go play for a team that hires A players.
Yeah.
So if you've got good people on your team and you keep giving them just the people that no one else wants, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose your good people because you keep throwing bad people at a problem. So, I mean, it impacts every area of the business.
Yeah.
And then we also find that people that aren't great, they have more health issues. They have more safety issues. They have more work comp issues. Like it's just, I mean, you pick a category on the P&L and I promise you it's costing you something in there when you make a bad hire.
Well, I think you've described a situation for a lot of listeners where they know the bad hire that you're talking about. They feel the disengagement, the hurt to their reputation and customer satisfaction, the morale to the team, and the cost of mistakes and all the different things that you mentioned. So, I think that there's so much on this hiring aspect and this recruiting aspect that you have to get right. And then once you do get right, it will be an unlock in so many of the other areas. You had mentioned something earlier that you should profit off employees. And I think it's a very true and accurate statement, but I think there's probably some people that haven't thought of it in those terms, and maybe they should. And just like you have a marketing funnel for customers and you're thinking of profit per customer, right? You're thinking of what the revenues is coming in from that customer and then how much we actually profit from it. Same aspect, you should treat it the same way with employees, because at the end of the day, profit's the most important thing because it allows you to do the subjective things that you want to do. You want to have a culture that helps people in the trades have a better family, help them have a better well-being. You want it to be able to be a catapult for them in their life and allow them to achieve their goals and dreams. All those subjective things that you want to achieve in the business are only happening because of the profit. And so you have to be thinking about it in terms of what is my profit per employee. Are there ways that you help people track things like that? Or is that more on the accounting side? how do you, frame conversations around revenue per employee, profit per employee?
I am not a numbers guy. I think
Okay.
I'm just not too into the details on that. But I understand. Here's something that I found, and this is a mindset shift. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
so much of the work we do is getting people to think differently about this. So often I see org charts. You've got a CEO, you've got a president, you've got the operations leader, the finance leader, all that. You know what box is almost missing almost every time I look at an org chart? The owner. No one ever puts the stakeholder on there. And guess what? If you own the company, you're part of that org chart.
Oh yeah.
I mean, whether you consider yourself a shareholder like they do in publicly traded companies, or a stakeholder or an owner, well, I don't care what you call it, but you are risking something. You are taking a risk by running this company, owning this company. You took a risk. That risk needs to come with a return on investment.
Yeah.
And if you are not thinking of it from an owner's hat, and you don't have to sit in the owner's seat a lot, but you got to put that hat on once in a while and say, wait a minute, I've got a guy here that I'm paying $80,000 a year to, and I can't get him to do a profitable job because he's not that great, because nobody trained him. No, I'm not training him because he can't seem to learn this stuff. Or maybe you've never even thought about it. When we think of marketing, and the 3 to 1 is always the baseline number. But if I'm going to spend $1 on marketing, I should be able to get $3 back in revenue.
Yeah.
Duh. At least 3, sometimes 5, sometimes 12. Who knows? But we're always thinking, if I'm going to spend $1 in marketing, I can't just get $1 back.
Yeah.
Because if I just get $1 back, like, why spend that dollar? Same thing with your people. And I tell people it's 2.5 to 3 times. Think about marketing again. If I pay $80,000, I better be able to show $240,000 worth of revenue because that employee exists.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I have to.
Yeah. And
because and people are like, oh, I don't need to make that much. Yeah, you do, because you got to cover overhead, they got to cover benefits, they got to cover insurance.
And is that something you should communicate?
They have to be part of.
Is that something you should communicate to the people on your team? Hey guys, you got to be bringing in $250,000 to be able to justify your role here, or I have to.
I mean, if you're doing technicians, so service technicians, for example, yeah, I think they should know that you have to be producing at this level for me to justify your existence. And you can be much nicer about it than that. Like, we're having an open conversation, but
yeah, you can set it as, there's incentives. You could do all sorts of things to make it like worthwhile to know that information, to be keenly aware of it.
Yeah. So. But if you're, let's say you're running a construction team, and these guys have nothing to do with the bidding process. They have nothing to do with the sales process. They have nothing to do with that. They have to know that that job has to be profitable based on the way you sold it. And if they can't do a profitable job, then they're not generating a profit for you. So maybe the return there isn't as big as it would be, say, for that service guy that's out there selling. But if you're bidding a job at 15 points or 20 points, and that crew cannot get you those 20 points, I think that needs to be communicated with them. Absolutely. We hold our guys accountable for safety issues and for waste and for, destruction of property and for being behind schedule. But we rarely ever hold them accountable to, you got to make sure this job is profitable how I bid it.
Yeah.
We don't want to have those conversations. I don't know why, but we don't usually have those.
No, and I think communicating that a little bit more clearly and in a positive manner, not in like, you're not making me a profit.
I gave you the short version, like the behind closed doors version, but
yeah, but like, finding a way to deliver it in an inspirational, motivational, framework, I think can really make a difference in making people want to show up and do a better job and be more efficient and track things and go to work to make it a profitable job, because people want to be challenged. They want to do something that's meaningful. And they want to feel like they're achieving inside their role. And if you've set a number for them to target and, something they can work towards, that's only going to help achieve those things.
For the contractor that maybe isn't a Tony Robbins motivational type person, and they're just like, that's not me, which a lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
Here's something that I've learned. And this is something we use all the time to help them understand it, but we give them these tools. Analogies are amazing. I've used a couple analogies here where I've talked about personal relationships or, training a new pet. right? People understand the personal side of things and can relate it back to business. People are not going to understand business at the level you do as the owner because that's not what they do. It's why people don't hand a P&L to, their hourly workers and say, hey, here's how we look, because they aren't going to understand what they're looking at. So think about the analogies that work in personal life and just share that with them. You wouldn't want to stay at a bank that doesn't pay you interest, would you? You wouldn't want to give your money to a financial advisor who can't earn you a return, would you? So think about it I wouldn't want to hire an employee who can't earn me a return, because I'd be better off just putting that money with my financial advisor, but I'm investing it in my business because that's what I want to create.
Yeah.
And those simple tie-ins to personal life can be incredibly beneficial to not only the communication relationship you have with people, but helping them understand why this stuff matters.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.